Asleep 5 Decades is a YouTube channel run by Lisa, a full-time van dweller who documents her life on the road as she travels across Canada. From the freedom of endless highways to the challenges of living out of a van, she shares the reality of a life constantly in motion. But not every journey brings peace. On October 27, 2022, Lisa uploaded a video describing a deeply unsettling experience that left her shaken. That night, she had parked her van near a camping area along the Bonneau Canal, expecting nothing more than a quiet place to rest. The area seemed calm, ordinary, and still, but as she settled in, something happened that turned the night into one she would never forget.
So I'm actually in Bonneau Canal, and I have got my side door open like I always do, but I kind of have it so that people have no reason, they have absolutely no reason to walk on the side of my van so that they can look in it or anything, unless they want to be nosy or, just up to no good. And so that's exactly what this one guy did. I'm in there starting to prepare my dinner, and he pokes his head right in my van, like comes right in my van, the side door, and he's like, "Vous avez un petit ami?" And I was startled and I jumped back. He goes, "Un chum?" And I'm like, I don't speak French. Like, "Vous avez un petit ami?" He asked me if I had a boyfriend. Do you have a boyfriend? Un chum is just another way of asking a boyfriend. I don't speak French. And so he gets out his phone and he's trying to look for a translator, like a Google Translator or something, so he can communicate with each other. And I'm thinking, what for? Like, what for? Why are we going to bother communicating, or try to communicate and go all through the hassle for what? I ended up shutting the door because he couldn't figure out the Google translation. He was sitting there for, I don't even know, it felt like eternity. And so I just said, "Excuse me," and I shut my door literally on him, the side door, because I did not feel safe. Like, he was just something about him that was really sketchy, shady, and I was just not feeling it. And so I'm not going to ignore my intuition this time. And so excuse me, shut the door.
The encounter began with a stranger approaching her van and immediately opening the side door without hesitation. That alone set off alarm bells. He entered her space without permission, crossing a line as if it meant nothing, and began asking personal questions. Something about his presence felt deeply wrong. His insistence, his refusal to back off, the unsettling energy he carried all made her uneasy. When she finally shut the door on him, he did not leave. He remained there, standing just outside her van. That was the moment her fear truly set in, and she realized her safety might be at risk.
So he goes in front of the van and I see him, forever still trying to figure out this this translation, or trying to figure out a way to communicate with me. He's just at the front of my van, and so I kind of shut the curtains so that he can't see in, and just, you would think he would take the hint. Oh no. So after, I think it was maybe half an hour, it had to be at least that long, trying to figure out how to communicate with me. Well, he gets in his car, and because I had shut my curtains, well, he's trying to get my attention to come out, I suppose. So for a good hour, he drove his car and kept on parking it differently in front of my van, beside my van, but he kept on moving it, and I was just creeped right out. I just thought this guy would take the hint and go away, but this went on for way too long. And so it was starting to get dark, and I was sitting there going, oh my God, what do I do?
The situation only continued to escalate. His behavior grew darker, more unsettling with every passing minute. He began parking his car at different angles near her van, repositioning it again and again as if trying to block her in. He would get out, stand there in the rain, and stare at Lisa for long, uncomfortable stretches of time before getting back into his car, only to repeat it all over again. This went on for nearly an hour. The longer it lasted, the more unnerving it became. It felt like he was slowly closing in on her, testing boundaries, watching, waiting. The behavior made no sense. Why would someone remain outside in the rain for that long, lingering, fixated on a lone woman in a van. Whatever his intentions were, they didn't feel innocent, and with each minute, the sense of danger grew heavier.
He just moved even closer so that I can't move out and so that I can't go forward. Please leave. Please leave, you sketchy person. Please leave. This guy is really starting to freak me out. It's been like a half an hour and he just keeps on moving his vehicle so he can see in my van here. Anyways, it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. It's raining pretty hard and he is just such a creepy person, and I didn't trust him when he was trying to talk to me earlier. And he's just staring me down, and I'm afraid to go up the front there, but I still have this set up right there, you know, the umbrella. See? But I'm trying to, so that he doesn't see my phone. Like, where is he now? Look at that. He's really sketchy. He's really scaring me. But the good thing is, can't see, but I was just about to get ready to leave, and then somebody pulled in, like a family pulled in a big RV, and they kind of were just kind of behind me, not right behind me, but close enough that they would hear me scream. And so I felt a little comforted with that, and so I decided to stay. And he's close enough that he would hear me yell even. So for the first time, I am grateful to see somebody. Oh, anyways, this guy did leave, and then he did come back about 3 hours later when it was pitch black. And oh my God, I was thankful that the RV was there with the family, and I got every weapon that I could think of out. And oops, thought I spilled my coffee on me. I got every weapon to protect myself out and available, so in case he decided to do something stupid. But nonetheless, that was creepy.
He pulled his car directly in front of her van, blocking her only way out, not accidentally, but deliberately. And then he did it again, repositioning, edging closer, circling her van like a predator testing a cage. The atmosphere shifted from uncomfortable to openly threatening. This was no longer confusion or curiosity. This felt calculated. Lisa had no idea what his intentions were, and that uncertainty was terrifying. The way he lingered, the way he refused to leave made one thing painfully clear. Whatever he wanted, it wasn't innocent. It felt less like a random encounter and more like a setup, as if he was trying to trap her, waiting for one mistake, one wrong move. Just as she was preparing to leave, headlights appeared. An RV pulled into the area, a family. In that moment, the tension snapped. Relief washed over her as the presence of others shattered whatever control he thought he had, and almost immediately, the man backed off. Had that RV not arrived, the night could have ended very differently. Help was far away, and the threat was real. This encounter was a chilling reminder that the danger in the outdoors isn't always animals or something lurking in the dark. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's men with sinister intentions. Lisa escaped unharmed, but the experience left her deeply shaken, permanently changing how safe she felt on the road. Some encounters don't leave visible scars, but stay with you long after the danger is gone. Meet Eva Zhu, the creator behind the YouTube channel Eva Zhu Beck. She is an adventurer, survivalist, and self-described feral woman, known for living in her tent and pushing herself through extreme camping and exploration challenges. On November 13, 2024, She uploaded a video detailing a deeply unsettling encounter with a stranger. Ava often lives and films alone in the wilderness, but during one of her solo camping nights in a remote woodland, something happened that shattered the sense of control she usually thrives on.
A man that I don't know appeared on my property. And he turned to me and he said, "Oh, finally I found you. I've been looking for you." This is a man that I don't know, that I didn't invite here, that I didn't want here, who came here all on his own to my private property in the mountains, where there is no obvious path that leads here. He made his way up the hills and through the freaking forest to find me, uninvited. To find a woman who's camping on her own, on her private property. To find her and do what exactly? I was shocked. I was shocked and immediately felt so vulnerable and so scared. I immediately told him that this is my private property and that I'm not looking for guests. I took my axe and I went inside my tent with Vjok. This is not the first time that something like this has happened.
Suddenly, she noticed a man standing on her private land. Without hesitation, he spoke, telling her that he had finally found her and that he had been looking for her. The words hit instantly, freezing her in place. A wave of dread crept in as she realized that she did not recognize this man at all. Yet he clearly knew who she was and had come there deliberately. That realization alone was deeply unsettling. She immediately told him to leave, her instincts screaming that something was wrong. The man lingered for a moment, moving slowly around the area before heading toward the exit. Even after he disappeared from view, Ava could not shake the fear, uncertain whether he had truly left or was still somewhere nearby, watching and waiting.
It's a really terrifying experience when men that you don't know seek you out and you don't know what their intentions are.
Drive over to your friends, just park for the night or somewhere else, go back in the morning to clean up stuff.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
It's especially earlier than later. It's not fun. It's fucking convenient as fuck. But like if we're just trying to play risk management with a situation where you have a bunch of unknowns, you don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
He says he's visiting. It could be another weirdo that's coming to look for stuff. So like we just don't know.
Yeah.
Comes up with beers.
Yeah.
So he starts drinking and thinks, I'll go back.
Yeah, that's true. I don't really know what to do, but my friend's telling me to go down to the car and spend the night in the car. Vjok is looking pretty alert. Normally he's already sleeping at this point. And I kind of don't want to leave the tent here, but I also don't think I'd be able to fall asleep here tonight, honestly. Because I don't know. People drink, people get stupid ideas in their heads. It's so dark, I don't want to go through the forest in the dark. But I don't feel safe here right now. My gut's telling me to go. So, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take some luggage. I'm gonna go to sleep in the car. But the craziest thing about all this is that I know for a fact that there are wolves in these forests right now, as we speak. Because I've seen them on my trail cams, because people in the village have lost dogs and sheep just now, this season. And yet I feel like it's safer for me to go down the forest to my car, just to reach my car, than to stay here and face the risk of a strange man coming up to me in the middle of the night.
She no longer felt safe. Every instinct told her to leave, warning her that staying through the night could lead to something far worse. The man had been holding a beer bottle, and the thought of him drinking, growing more unpredictable, and possibly returning made her skin crawl. What had once felt like a secure, familiar campsite suddenly felt exposed and compromised. This place was no longer safe. Knowing hesitation could be a mistake, She packed up and chose to leave immediately. She walked out of the forest in the dark, even with the risk of wolves nearby, because that danger felt more predictable than the unknown intentions of a stranger. Sometimes survival means trusting your instincts without question. In isolated places, the greatest threat is not always the wilderness or what hides in the dark, but the people who shouldn't be there at all. Meet Carl, the creator of the YouTube channel Welcome to the Woods UK, where he documents outdoor adventures, camping trips, hunting, and survival challenges, often presenting the forest as a calm and peaceful escape. But on March 9th, 2022, that sense of comfort was shattered. While spending time in his woodland, Carl noticed something that didn't belong there. At first, he dismissed it, assuming it was nothing unusual. That changed when he realized one of his trail cameras had completely vanished. There was no clear explanation, no natural reason for it to disappear. The missing camera suggested that someone or something had entered his woodland unnoticed, moving deliberately, leaving behind an unsettling feeling that the forest was no longer as empty or safe as it once seemed.
Anyone that's been following the channel, especially recently, will know that I've had some sort of intruder in this wood. I'm on the south side of the property today at the furthest point. I've been through the woodland checking on my trail cams. Last week I did have one trail cam go missing. Can't find hiding a hair of it. Not even the strap was left on the tree. So that's just come up missing. It's almost as if someone's unstrapped it and took it with them, like, 'cause obviously they've been caught out or something. All of the other trail cams though are still in situ. So stick around. I've got a great deal planned for this video, so I have actually got a couple of experimental things that I want to try. I do want to try and set up that sort of dummy camp a couple of 100 yards away from me whilst I'm set up in a stealthy camp, and I have my night vision binoculars trained onto where the camp is. Just put a little cob light or something inside and see if anyone does pass by, because that last camp that I did have was pretty chilling.
Carl later revealed that the camera hadn't just been removed, it had vanished entirely, including the mounting strap. Refusing to let it go unanswered, he decided to take a different approach and launched a drone to survey the woodland from the air. Day after day, the footage showed nothing out of the ordinary. The trees stood still, the ground looked undisturbed, yet the sense of being watched lingered. Then, almost 2 weeks into the search, the drone recorded something that instantly turned his unease into dread.
So for the last 2.5 weeks I have been using my drone for aerial surveillance on this. Might sound funny, but it can actually cover a big area and it can see a lot wider vision than what I can be in the woods on the floor. So I've been using that. 2.5 weeks in, I did catch something that did catch my attention. So we are at the big cabin, some 4 miles away from the other bit of woodland that you have been seeing. It's quite nice to get away from that bit of woodland, to be honest with you. The last few weeks just staring at trail cam footage, drone footage, and the bits of footage that I did get at night time of whatever it is or whoever it is that is creeping about at night in there. So the drone footage was concerning in the fact that there shouldn't have been anyone else in the woodland, and you can quite clearly see some sort of figure of a person walking from one side of the clearing to the other. I don't seem to have any recognition that the drone's there. Although the drone was going quite fast, I obviously slowed it down just so you could see the detail. I'm going to spend the last weekend here before the spring comes. I want to take the stovepipe and the log burner out and give it a good clean once I'm finished in here this weekend.
When Carl reviewed the drone footage, he noticed a lone shape slipping between the trees. The figure appeared cloaked in dark, tangled material, almost like thick hair or a crude ghillie suit, blending unnervingly into the forest. Its movements were wrong, deliberate, and confident, as if it knew every inch of the woodland. It walked upright, carrying an unsettling mix of human posture and something far more animal. A cold unease settled over Carl as he watched the footage again and again. Determined to draw it out and learn the truth, he formed a plan. He would set up a decoy camp and place cameras around it, hoping whatever had been moving through his woods would return and finally reveal itself.
Don't know if you can see it, but just against that tree that's out there in the opening, that is the decoy camp. I'll show you exactly where we are with an arrow. As you can see, once you're shut inside, it is quite cosy. This is just a test on the decoy, which is a good 120 yards off the edge of the woodland. So that tree is 97 yards. Keep getting false readings from the laser on the rangefinder hitting the grass. So behind this decoy setup here is the east part of our woodland where the new cabin's being built, and we've got plenty of clearing here to see if anyone comes around. I'm going to put a cob light inside and turn it on just as it gets dark, so as it acts as a bit of an attractor. That wind's getting up. In the event that we are successful, I will hit record on the night vision binoculars. I'll also light that area up with a high powered torch that I've got, and I shall shout the odds and hopefully scare this person away to never coming back here ever again.
The fake campsite was placed well away from where Carl was actually staying, complete with a tent and gear arranged to look recently occupied. After setting the trap, he slipped back into concealment, taking position at a distance with his night vision optics ready. When night closed in and the woods sank into darkness, he kept the decoy camp under constant watch, studying every shadow and listening for the slightest sign that the unseen intruder would finally show itself.
If that was a stick that's fallen out of that tree or something was thrown. I'll have to replay the footage, but I'm not sure whether a branch fell out of the tree or something was thrown at that. I want to keep this light as low as I can, but it sounds like a woman shouting or screaming. Jesus. Jesus. The hell is that? What the hell is that? Switch over to night vision 1 second.
At first, a heavy branch came crashing down onto the tent, striking it with enough force to feel intentional, as if something had hurled it from the darkness. Carl tried to brush it off, but moments later the woods erupted with noise. Deep, echoing sounds rang out around the camp, somewhere between screams and distorted shouting. He froze, heart pounding, scanning the footage, yet there was nothing there. No figure, no movement, no explanation. The sounds were raw and guttural, nothing like wildlife. Carl could not pinpoint the source no matter how hard he tried. The noises seemed to drift, circling the tent just beyond the reach of his vision. He remained on high alert for the rest of the night, but nothing else revealed itself. By morning, the forest had returned to its usual calm, offering no answers. The sounds, the forceful impact, and the figure glimpsed earlier on the drone footage had no logical explanation. Carl had set the trap to uncover the truth, but instead he walked away with deeper, more unsettling questions. Was it a person stalking the woodland, or something far stranger that understood how to stay hidden? Whatever shared that forest with him never revealed itself, leaving behind a chilling mystery that may never be explained. Paul runs the YouTube channel, Paul in a Pack, where he documents his outdoor journeys through backpacking, hiking, and camping, capturing everything from the stillness of deep forests to the quiet beauty of the wilderness. His content is usually calm and reflective, focused on the peace that comes with being alone in nature. But on August 2nd, 2025, that sense of peace was shattered. Paul set out on the Pacific Crest Trail with a simple plan to hike deep into the trail and camp for the night. As he pushed farther inside the wilderness, something unexpected stopped him cold. What he encountered along the trail was not just unsettling, it was something that instantly changed the tone of his journey and made him realize this hike was not going to unfold the way he imagined.
So I've just come from this direction, walking down this trail here, and to the side of me is this big volcanic feature. I'm going to guess it's either a sill or a dike. I can't remember the difference between them. But just through here on some of the rocks, there seems to be a big pile of, it kind of looks like trash, but it also looks like it could be a sleeping bag. And I can't see anyone there. It's just a little bit strange, so I'm just going to have a wander in and make sure that there's nothing nasty going on. Hello? Oh my goodness me. Oh no. Oh no. I'm not sure if I've just found a body or not. Well, that was something I didn't expect at all. I've heard of it happening a couple of times on the trail this year so far, but I didn't think it would happen to me. I've just found somebody's remains at the side of the trail. And when I say the side of the trail, kind of like off that side of the trail, maybe 50 feet or so. I thought it was a pile of trash to start with, and I thought I would just go and investigate. When I got closer to it, it became obvious that it was the remains of a hiker. There was a backpack there, a sun umbrella, some trekking poles, and then I spotted the leg bones completely stripped. The tent was there, you know, all the sort of stuff you would associate with a through hiker or a long section hiker. And then when I turned around to leave the scene to get back to the trail to figure out what to do, that's when I spotted the skull. And that just obviously confirmed everything. There was a couple behind me, Adam and Jennifer, thank goodness. They helped me out, and Adam called 911. He had a little bit of service, and there's some deputies coming out to meet us. Just the thing, we're kind of in the middle of a section that's difficult, a little bit more difficult to get to roads-wise. So it's going to be about 3 miles to the road where the deputies are coming in from, I believe. Adam's marked the site with some TP, toilet paper, and some sticks. And as I say, we didn't disturb anything. We just kind of looked from a distance. But it's an awful, awful thing, obviously. But hopefully that will bring some closure to the family. That's the only thing that's kind of a good thing that's come out of it. But yeah, sorry, I don't really know what to say, guys. It's obviously not something that's happened to me before, and I don't think my brain kind of knows how to compute it.
Paul noticed something out of place on the forest floor. At first it didn't register, just shapes and colors that didn't belong. But as he moved closer, the reality set in. What he was looking at were the remains of another camper, someone who had gone missing on this very trail. The scene was deeply disturbing. A tent lay collapsed, gear scattered as if abandoned in a hurry, and nearby, the hiker's lifeless body rested among the trees. In the original video, much of this footage is heavily censored, with details obscured due to how graphic and sensitive the discovery was. Shaken, Paul immediately sought help from a nearby couple, and together they contacted emergency services. Authorities later recovered the body, finally bringing closure to the hiker's family. While there was relief in knowing the missing person had been found, the weight of what Paul had stumbled upon did not fade easily. The forest, once calm and inviting, now felt heavy with what had happened there. Coming across human remains on an otherwise ordinary trail is beyond unsettling. Questions followed Paul long after he left the area. How did the hiker die? Why were his belongings scattered through the woods? The wilderness offered no explanation, only silence. What truly happened on that stretch of the Pacific Crest Trail remains a chilling mystery, one that may never be answered. This disturbing encounter comes from Sarah, the creator behind the channel Wandering Jeepsy. Her content follows her life on the road, traveling across the United States in her Jeep, documenting outdoor explorations and the quiet freedom that comes with Jeep life. Through empty highways and open landscapes, she searches for solitude, nature, and a sense of peace away from the noise of everyday life. On December 15, 2024, Sarah set out on a solo overnight camping trip in the remote deserts of Utah. The Utah desert welcomed her with an eerie stillness, wide and empty, offering a false sense of peace where the quiet felt almost too perfect. But what began as a simple night camping trip slowly unraveled into an unsettling experience, one that would shatter her sense of safety.
Well, another awesome free campsite out here in beautiful southern Utah. And I'm gonna walk around and go check the area out. So many beautiful, beautiful rocks. Look at this whole area. So peaceful, and there's nobody around. And this is BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management. So meaning it's free camping. I like to walk around when I get to my place that I'm setting up camp at and just scope the area out. Make sure there's no crazy people hiding in the bushes or behind the rocks. Or wild animals. But I think we're good in this area. And this is my tiny home. Turn this heater down a little bit. I got the heater going right now because it's cold outside and I need to warm up the inside. So, normally I fit in here completely perfect, but I have to take my hair out of the bun because obviously with my hair up in the bun, it's hitting the ceiling. But yeah, so this is a little home, and
She walked the perimeter first, scanning the open desert to make sure she was truly alone. With no signs of anyone nearby, she finally relaxed and returned to her Jeep, taking a moment to brew some coffee. Sitting beside the vehicle, wrapped in the silence of the desert, everything felt calm and uneventful. That sense of peace lasted only seconds before something unexpected broke the stillness and changed everything.
Well, and that's another thing I've been dealing with. We all know I've been dealing with a stalker situation lately. I know what he drives. I know what he looks like. I kind of know where he is at all times because, well, he posts his videos of where he's at. But maybe that has had me a little bit sketched out lately. But for me to be sitting here at my Jeep in this secluded spot right now, which I'm about to leave, and then that red truck just pulls up at the end of this dirt road where I'm at, and then just sits there. And I was out walking around the campsite filming. When I saw the truck, I thought he was going to turn around or something, but no, he just sits there. So I took my phone and I put it up on my dashboard and I just started recording just in case. So then I also come and stand by my Jeep because we all know I have protection, so. And the truck just continues to sit there. And then when he pulls off, you guys can probably see it in the video, his window is rolled down and he's staring right at me when he pulls off. So just stuff like that gets under my skin. Because now I found this awesome campsite and I have to leave. Because now I am worried and paranoid that once it gets dark or in the middle of the night, could this guy come back because he knows I'm here by myself in this secluded spot? And it's already getting late in the day for me to go try to find another campsite now.
She was sitting there, soaking in the stillness, when a red truck appeared at the far end of the dirt road. It rolled to a stop and stayed there, far enough to feel distant but close enough to be noticed. At first she thought nothing of it until the minutes stretched on. The driver began repositioning the truck, pulling forward slightly, stopping, then shifting again, repeating the same motion without ever leaving. Nearly 7 minutes passed before Sarah realized the man inside wasn't just parked there. He was staring straight at her. The realization sent a slow wave of dread through her. Why was he there, and why hadn't he driven off? Unnerved, she retreated into her Jeep and started recording. Even then, the man didn't leave. He remained at the edge of the road, adjusting his position again and again, as if testing her patience or watching her reaction. The behavior felt deliberate. Then she noticed something that made her stomach drop. He was wearing a mask the entire time. Out there, in the middle of nowhere, it felt deeply wrong. He never waved, never spoke, never acknowledged her presence in any normal way. He just watched. When the truck finally pulled away, the fear lingered. What if he came back in the middle of the night? This didn't feel like coincidence at all. Every movement, every second he lingered felt deliberate, as if he had stopped there for her and no one else. The most unsettling part was not knowing why. She had no idea what his intentions were, only that something about the situation felt deeply wrong. That uncertainty alone was enough to convince her she could not stay. Sarah packed up her camp and left the area, choosing distance over doubt and safety over curiosity. In places that isolated, there are no alarms, no second chances, only your instincts. And for Sarah, she chose to trust hers and left. Sometimes listening to that quiet inner warning is the only thing standing between you and something far worse. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and comment which encounter was most disturbing, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more chilling and disturbing content.